Yeah, it was nuts. I
Yeah.
was like, where did I move to?
Yeah. Dude, that reminds me of anytime because we live in a pretty, I don't know, I guess it's kind of a small-ish area.
Yeah.
But if I stop at the local gas station that's down the street from my house, we'll have like all the construction dudes just leave their trucks on in the morning, right? And I stop in there at like 5 in the morning because I'm heading to the gym. And, they'll leave their trucks on, just walk in. I mean, they're in there for like 5 to 10 minutes. Truck's just going, nobody's in there. I'm like, dude, you could easily just take this vehicle. Like, it'd be so easy.
With all the tools and
all the tools.
Yeah.
I mean, like just even scrapping the truck and selling all the tools. Anyways, not that I think that way, you guys. I'm not a criminal here. Well, I'm not anymore. But I always found that interesting because I'm like, well, in any other place, like even I grew up a little, a larger town city in Utah called Ogden, and Ogden's a pretty rough place if you're in Utah, because Utah's not really that rough, but Ogden is one of those they call the armpit of Utah. And no offense to anybody who listens to this about Ogden, because I loved it up there too, but the crime was definitely more. You wouldn't leave your car running up there in downtown Ogden. You just wouldn't do that. So it's just interesting how the different places that we live, how our habits and the things change.
Oh, yeah.
Right? What we choose to do changes.
Well, even like walking at night or whatever, that's got to be different in that area also.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. There's a place I forget the part of LA that it's in. But I remember we went down there and visited, and the guy that we were staying with, he's like, yeah, you don't go outside at night.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, you don't go outside at night. He's like, we have to do all of our shopping, all of our other things. You get home, as soon as it's dark, we stay inside. And I'm like, it's really that bad? He's like, have you ever seen, whatever, these movies? And I'm like, he's like, that's how it is. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's where we're at,
Yeah.
And then you have the places like you're saying, elsewhere where there's hardly any crime and, we're having fun. You can go for a walk in the middle of the night and you're fine. So I prefer the latter. I prefer to be in the area that I'm in right now, Mapleton, Utah, and it's pretty chill.
Yep.
So
where do you live now? San Diego?
Yeah, so I live in San Diego.
That is an amazing place.
It's pretty.
Like, I've gone to San Diego a lot recently, and that's a beautiful place.
It's a place we tourists go to. Mm-hmm. People that live there are probably like, yeah, it's okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. San Diego's a cool place. Is it, how long have you been there?
I've been here coming up on 4 years.
Okay. Awesome. And then you said so are you engaged or just girlfriend right now? Girlfriend, boyfriend?
Yeah, we're engaged. And
awesome.
The funny thing was I planned the engagement like 6 months before all this stuff happened. And so like, I believe the proposal was done like a week after I had lost my job. So
well, I'm unemployed, but will you marry me?
Yeah.
I couldn't turn around and change it. I was like, the families had flown out from other places. I did this big kind of extravagant plan, and I couldn't cancel it. So I just had to go through with it.
Yeah.
Dude, that's great. Good for you. And she does doTERRA, right?
Yeah. She's been doing doTERRA full time for about 5 years. She's also a doctor of physical therapy too.
That's
but
right.
She doesn't really practice because she does so well with doTERRA. So
she's making awesome. Bank with
that's
good old DT.
Yeah, that's awesome to have that freedom.
For sure. The time freedom. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of jumping into that too a little bit with her.
Yeah, 100%. As soon as all this stuff came down, it's like we really had to figure out what we were doing, where we were going, get real intentional with our path and our future. So we're shooting for Founders 2.0.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've been around since Founders 1.0.
Nice.
We've been in doTERRA for 10 plus years now. But I went the other way. Like we started creating time freedom and some financial freedom, and then I decided to go open a gym.
Yeah. Well, it creates opportunity for going after your passions and stuff like that. So that's
I've used doTERRA as a vehicle.
Yeah, you can use it. Yeah, in that way also.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's what Owen will do also with his physical therapy. Yeah.
You do what you love and
find a way to do that.
Right. So where are you working out of for your physical therapy stuff now? Are you have private clients, or do you have you opened up your own office, right? Is that right? Just recently?
Well, I'm actually subcontracting out of a gym called S10 Fitness.
Okay.
Over in Point Elm area. And the owners there are awesome. They're allowing this kind of smooth progression as far as I basically pay rent, and while I'm building my caseload and my patients and establishing myself in the community, because it's like I almost had to go in cold because I with no clientele basis, because I work for Kaiser, who keeps strict track of their enrollees, and also I worked in the home health setting because it was more of a comfortable fit for me to not burn out, which wasn't necessarily my passion anyways. And so I worked with a lot of people that just doing basic stuff: sit to stand, bed to chair transfers, car transfers, ordering walkers and teaching them how to use them, stuff like that. Very basic, where my true passion is helping out active people getting back to doing what they want to do using my manual therapy skills, which I hardly ever used in home health. So in a way, it's amazing what I get to do now.
Yeah, man. The gym setting is a perfect place. I've thought about actually hiring or subleasing to a physical therapist at my gym as well, just because if I'm constantly telling people to go to him, right, or go to a physical therapist, it's like, if I can create enough clientele for this guy, it'd be nice to just have him there. Have him, one of the offices in our facility, have him use one of those, because then we have him right on hand. You know. But dude, that's great. It's exciting. What is your? So we like to ask lots of questions, and we used to give you guys we give people a list of questions, but now we kind of let this flow a little bit more instead of having it so directed kind of a interview. But I do like to ask questions. So in terms of mindset and personal development and things like that, what are some of your favorite books, favorite podcasts, things like that?
Okay, so there's quite a few of them. I would say to get myself right, I have a morning routine. And I kind of developed a lot of the morning routine from the guy, I think his name is Sean Wayland of Lions Not Sheep clothing company.
Yeah.
That's out of Utah.
Yeah, he's local to us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a book called Make Shit
How
Happen.
to Make,
Yeah, I think I'm looking at it right now on Shane's shelf. It's a good one.
Nice. So he starts his morning off very similar by basically letting his dogs out and listening to a Joe Rogan clip that is also one of my favorite clips about being the hero of your own movie.
Yeah.
But I've listened to that so many times and I love it. Instead, I listened to a podcast that Jen actually introduced me to called Quote of the Day with Sean Croxton. And it's usually about a 10 to 15 minute clip of some sort of motivational speaker like Jordan Peterson, who I love too.
Oh, yeah.
Get a lot of my stuff him, even Joe Rogan, or even Will Smith, or even Jim Carrey, or even Jim Rohn, who you introduced me to.
Yeah.
He's been on that podcast many times. And John Chase recommended the complete Jim Rohn audiobook, and I'm more than halfway finished with it. So usually I'll let the dog out, I'll listen to Quote of the Day, and then I'll switch over to my audiobook, whatever it is at the time. Currently it's the Jim Rohn one.
Awesome.
And I'll tend my garden at the same time. Then I'll go back inside, I'll read a scroll from The Greatest Salesman in the World that I found through Matthew McConaughey, which is kind of programming your mind to be a better person.
Right.
And then I usually I meditate, and lately it's looking at my vision board and smelling my anchor oil to kind of activate the limbic system. And then I go ground myself outside by meditating with my feet firmly planted in the ground. And after all of that, then I begin my day. Or actually, I do some journaling, and the journaling now is my posting on Real Men. That's how I get my journaling out instead.
Yes,
so my journaling practice got transferred, and it's very similar.
Then when do you hit the gym?
Well, how long does this morning routine take you?
So it usually takes me about an hour. It can take up to 2 hours, if I'm just really taking my time.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually about an hour.
What takes you the most time? The meditating or the journaling? Or
I think usually what takes me the most time is the listening to the quote of the day, and then part of the audiobook and tending to the garden. The garden kind of takes a little bit because I got to trim it and fertilize it and whatever.
So I need to get
love it.
A new morning routine because it's getting a lot colder now here in Utah. And so I was going on a walk every morning and like a long walk. And
now you're supposed to just go on a walk in a Speedo.
Yeah.
I've talked to you about cold exposure, right? Come on.
But I need to find something else that I can do for a morning routine because routines are really important to me personally because I went through a brain injury, and so I think a routine for me, it just grounds me and to something that I have to do every day, you know. So that's important to me personally.
Yeah, I think that's great, Shane. That is great. I think all of us can benefit from from having a routine, and you know, having that morning routine sets you up for whatever may happen in the rest of the day. I mean, we can't control all outcomes, right?
It's like the Make Your Bed book.
Yeah, right.
Like,
read that one too.
Yeah.
Great book.
So one of the things I do for my morning routine is make my bed, and that like creates like if your day is shit. Like you, at least you come back to a made bed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
See, I don't make my bed because I get up before my wife does. When I come home later, I mean, like the bed is nice.
Yeah.
So I like getting into a nice made bed.
Yep.
But I don't make my bed. My morning routine is kind of similar, but I have to shorten everything. I have to be to the gym about 5:30 ish is about when I usually show up and write the workout on the day of the day. I'll write even a quote of the day on the board, things like that, and kind of go over in my mind what I'm going to kind of inspire everybody with that day. But I would love to be able to do more, like what you're doing, Owen. But I'd have to get up at like 3. And I understand how important sleep quality is. Yeah. And I do have 6 kids. So getting kids to sleep by 7 probably won't work for me. So anyway, so my morning usually doesn't start until about 4:35. And then I do I usually listen to my stuff while I'm driving. So I listen to the, either whoever it is. I mean, right now I think I moved on to something that Rob in the Real Men suggested, Not Nice, and I like it so far. I do like the whole Not Nice thing because I find myself, I used to think I'm like, no, I'm not one of those people. I'm not a people pleaser. But then when he's going over some of the examples, I'm like, oh, I do that, and I'm like, oh man, am I one of these guys? Am I too nice?
Well, I think you have to be that way a little bit in both Owen's and your careers, because that's all about like making people
customer service. Yeah.
So you kind of have to take that into account.
And he goes over the difference between kind and nice, because you can be kind, respectful, compassionate, loving, all those strong characteristics. You can be those things without being the nice guy. The nice guy is the one that is the pushover. Yes. The one that says yes to everything. And that's probably my biggest. I'm going to go out and tell everybody the truth here on today's podcast. I tend to say yes to almost anything. Like when somebody's like, hey, can you put together a program for me, yada, yada, yada. And I realize how long it's going to take and how they don't have any money and they're not going to pay me. And I say yes anyway.
Yeah, it's like when you go to a job interview and they ask you, what's your biggest flaw?
Yeah.
And you say something like that. That almost sounds good.
Yeah, to them, yeah. But do you guys, we might as well open it up to that. Do either of you feel like you have some of those nice guy tendencies, like saying yes too easily, or maybe afraid to say no because you're worried about what someone else may think about you?
Yeah. And that's
Yeah, shoot.
Well, like that's the